Welcome everybody, this is Mr. Allen. This is going to be an orientation for math classes online in DSB1. So if you're seeing the video, obviously you've gotten into our e-learning environment. This is D2L or Brightspace, and this is where most of the work will be done. I won't spend a lot of time on the individual parts here. It should be pretty self-explanatory. Content is where you'll find the actual content. Quizzes is where you'll write quizzes. Mail obviously sends you to your DSB1 mail account. Class progress gives you an idea of what you've completed and what you haven't, and what's sort of available at the current time. And of course, your grades will be posted under grades. Depending on when you go into grades, you may see nothing or you may see a bunch of things listed off with your scores on each. If they're posted there, chances are they've been marked. Usually I'll keep them hidden until they're available to you. If you see something there that is a 0, it means you've probably missed it. Contact me and we'll see about kind of getting it done if it's within a reasonable amount of time. This is also a nice place for you to check all the things that you're expected to have submitted. And so if you are missing something, it'll be more visible here maybe than somewhere else. The one option up top here that people sometimes misunderstand or struggle a bit with is the assignments box. You can sort of see the down arrow here suggesting this is a Dropbox area. So what you will see in here are not the assignments themselves, but where you're going to submit the assignments once they're complete. And depending on, again, what time of year it is and what I have showing, you may see many things or you may see just one option at the top here, which would be the orientation submission folder. So the key here, basically, because this is a math class, there will be a couple of things we do differently than other classes. The big one is in submitting the assignments, a lot of our work will be done on paper, and so we need to learn to scan things properly so they can be submitted. In order to do that, we're going to use some kind of scanning app, Adobe Scan, Office Lens. Note on the iPhone or iPad works as well, although the files are quite big, relatively speaking. It does do a fine job. So we're going to sort of see that process in a couple minutes here today, and that's what you're going to practice basically above and beyond most other things in the course of this orientation. Now, the one other thing that we do kind of struggle with is writing a proper test in an online class. And so what we do to compensate for that is I list your tests in the quiz section because it gives me the option of limiting your time. So you have sort of that real test feel, like if you go on to university or college next year and you're sitting down in the classroom, teacher gives out the work and says, submit it within the hour or within the 2-hour period, whatever it happens to be. So I want to kind of get that feel. So when you go into quizzes here today, at the very top you should see orientation short answers test or something similar. When you click on that and run it, it will show a question that requires more than just a short answer work. I can't read this through, at least not necessarily, and fire off the answer right away. So the idea of the test is once you start it, you can sort of see the time starts to expire. So it's a timed test like any other. The work you'll be doing on a piece of paper off to the side, writing out a full solution. Once you've done your full solution for the first question, you'll type your answer in here. This allows me to, first of all, limit your time, so you have that real test feel. But at the same point, you're going to submit the full solutions later on. So if what you've typed isn't quite right, but you have a good attempt at the solution, you can get part marks. And so you'll go through your 3 questions, figure out what this one works out to be, and then same sort of thing, kind of solve all these. And again, I'm doing all this work on a piece of paper off to the side, writing out full proper solutions, organized as if I were handing it in as an assignment. And I'm just typing in the last answer I get for each question. Note please that it says type only numeric answers. So if I'm thinking 21.25 per hour, I type 21.25. It's a dollar amount in this case, so I'll put the 2 decimal places. If it were, if you have 45.30 exactly, I'll put the 45.30 exactly what my 2 cents or my cents value would be. Similarly here, I guess this one actually was a percentage reduction, so I should have read the question. So let's say it was reduced by 21% or 18%. I simply type in the number. Generally speaking, if there is rounding to be done, I would suggest, I would tell you in the question what to do. So please do read sort of that follow-up value here. The one key with any kind of typed answer is the computer needs to be able to recognize exactly character for character what you've typed. And so we'll never, when you're typing an answer, never type in things like the $sign, the per hour, centimeters, or anything like that. It will always just be the numeric value. The instructions should tell you if there are units, what units to use, and so on. And so the basic idea here is I'm giving you the opportunity to write, again, a more traditional test. You're doing the work on paper, you're typing in your final answers, and your time is limited to whatever the amount of the time for the test is. Once you're happy with your solutions and you haven't run out of time, you'll submit the quiz. Submit again. And it will simply acknowledge the fact that you've done it. If it's an actual real test for like a unit test sort of thing, I won't tell you what your mark is right away, because of course if you typed in an answer that was slightly wrong, even if you did a very good solution, you might have typed it in not quite right, or you might have got the final answer wrong by making a small calculation error. I don't want it to tell you that you got 0 out of 4 on a question, when in fact, once I look at the full solution, you ended up with 3.5 or 3 out of 4. Okay, so that's sort of the idea of a test. Now, because again you had full solutions, what you'll have to do is scan them at that point and submit them to the assignment box. So when you scan, what I'm going to expect is that however many pages you have, they are all in a single file. So you're going to end up submitting, anytime you submit to the assignment Dropbox, you'll submit a single PDF. And then basically to do that, you'll scan it. There are instructions that will be posted as well, so you can sort of follow. I've got instructions that I wrote or that I did or that Ms. Wagner did for a couple of different options. And so those will be available to you when you're sort of done with this video. Once you've scanned the file, you can email it to yourself, to a computer to upload it, or if you can upload it from your from your device, your scanning device, that's fine as well. Basically, we'll click on our Dropbox and add the file. Once you've added the file, you can make comments if necessary. Usually that's not necessary, but that may be something you need to do. If you're sending me a link to a file, which will happen not in test situations, but in regular assignments sometimes, you might share an Excel spreadsheet or something with me. That link can be put right into there, submit, and then I'll be able to access it through the assignment Dropbox. So just to clarify, the test you're writing today is an orientation test. Again, it's a practice test. The questions you see are probably valid for your course as an introductory sort of thing, but certainly don't worry about getting quote unquote right answers. We're just kind of getting used to the idea of writing out a full solution, scanning it, submitting it, and still having that test field. So it's not worth marks basically other than the fact that it has to be done. So I guess I can include orientation submission as sort of a 5 marker to get you started, but the right and wrongs of the test won't matter. So we'll stop there. If you have questions throughout the course, of course, do not hesitate to contact me through email, through Teams. We'll clarify things as we go. This is again the one thing that we kind of want to make sure we have right from the start, so that if you need to send me work, whether it's because I want you to or because you want to, I want to make sure we've got that scanning idea down properly. In the links below this one, again, will be links to showing how to use different scanning apps, but they are all quite simple. It's much like taking a picture. You essentially take using the scanning app, you take the picture. what will happen is it'll allow you to then add the second page, add the third page, and so on. Send them all off as one PDF. You'll find that it's once you've done it once or twice, it's second nature. And again, at university, I think this is something, college and university, this is something that you'll have to do much of the time. I won't say all the time, but I know they won't accept things that aren't done properly. So we'll learn to do it nicely now, get a really nice clean picture. Easy for me to mark, easy for you to take a look at and sort of see whatever, what I did as far as marking goes. And then you have a nice file there to store so you can study from it later on. So, wish you well, and again, do not hesitate to contact me if you have questions, whether today or at any point in time throughout the course.